Hello, you are welcome to New Focused Approach to Mathematics Basic 8. This is the revised edition. And in this lesson, we are looking at creating and solving real-life problems involving place value concept. So we'll take few examples because we've already established the concept of place value. We know every number, the position, and the value in a particular place among the digits. So we want to now see practical examples that involve numbers and how place value can be of help to us. So here we are looking at a question like this. There are 3,875 students in a certain senior high school. Out of this number, only 225 are there. Each boarder is fed on 9 cedis a day, while each day student is given only lunch at 4 cedis a day for 5 days. Find how much the school spent on only the day student for 20 days, and that of the boarders for 7 days, the entire student for 5 weeks, if day students spend 5 days in a week. Only boarders for the first semester of 16 weeks. And so this is a very compact question, and we need to take them one after the other. So total students in the school, according to the question, is 3,875. Now, out of this, day students, we have day students is equals to 225. In that case, our boarders will be the 3,875 minus 225, and that should give us, so we have 3,650. Take your time and do the subtraction wall and you get the same answer. Now, the first question says that if we are to find how much the school spent on only the day student for 20 days. Now, the day student, every day they spend 4 cedis. And so we are going to say 4 cedis times the number of days, which is 20. Okay, times the total number of day students, which is 225. When you take your time and you multiply all these figures together, so it will be 18,000. 18,000. That is how much the school will spend on the day students for 20 days. Then boarders for 7 days, and the boarders, the total number is 3,650 times each boarder pays or spend 9 cedis times 7 days. Okay, and so 9 cedis to spend on each boarder and for 7 days, and the total number of boarders is 3,650. So we multiply these three numbers, and then when we put them together, it will be 229,950, and that is 229,950. So that answers the first question and then the second question. Now the third question says that the entire student for 5 weeks, if day students spend 5 days in a week. So the entire student for 5 weeks. Now let me bring a new page for this since we don't have space. So for the entire student, first of all, let's remember that the day students, they're talking about 5 weeks, and so for 5 weeks, day students will have 5 times 5 because they have 5 days in a week. So 5 days in a week times 5 will give us 25. Okay, then we can multiply that by 4. That means for the day students, they are going to have 25 days. Okay, since we are having 5 weeks, and so it will be 25 days times 4 cedis. So how much would that be? That will give us 100. Now, this 100 times the total number of day students that they are feeding will give us 225. And so the answer will be 22500. So on the part of the day student alone, they'll spend 22,500 on the part of the day student alone. Then on the part of the boarders, that one we are going to have 7 days in a week that they feed them, because they are in the boarding house, so they'll spend Saturday and Sunday. And so 7 days times 5 weeks times 9 cedi per student. So how many days are we talking about, and how much would that be? So 35 days times 9 will be equal to, so that will be 315, right? And the 315 will be the amount they will spend on each person for 7 days and for 5 weeks. So 7 times 5, 35 days times 9. But then how many day students do we have? So the boarders do we have in all? Now, according to the question, the boarders are 3,650, and so times 3,650, and so 315 times 3650. Do the calculation very well. You are going to have 1149750, which means the total will be 1,149,750. Now, when we put this together with that of the day students, which is 22,500, so plus 22,500, total will be, and then here will give us 2, remainder 1, 2 again, remainder 1, 6 and 7 here, then 1. And so we are going to have 1,172,250. So this is the amount of money they will use to feed the entire student for 5 weeks. Whoa, that's huge. That is 1,172,250. So you see how the place value is helping us to do addition and subtraction, and also quoting figures like that. Then they said only boarders for first semester, which is 16 weeks. Okay, so for first semester for 16 weeks, only boarders. So what it means again, that let me remove this one, clean this part off. Now for 16 weeks, the boarders, they have 7 weeks, 7 days in the week times 16 will give us what? So 7 days times 16 will be 112, right? Good. So 112 times how much they spend on each of the students? 9. And so again, we multiply that by 9, and that will give us 1008. How many students do we have for the boarders entirely? Is 3,650. So we multiply this 1008 by 3,000, that, and of course that is going to give us a huge number of 3,679,200. And so that is 3,679,200. This is how much they will spend on boarders for 16 weeks, only the boarders alone for 16 weeks, right? I'm sure this has really helped you. There are a lot of questions that has been put in here in this particular book. Try and solve them systematically based on what you've learned from here. I'm sure you'll be able to do that. Thanks so much for watching.